Wet and breezy conditions marked the opening day of the Hauts de France Golf Open at Saint-Omer Golf Club. With conditions likely to worsen later in the day, it was vital that some of the early starters made their mark quickly. And one of those to manage that was home favourite Julien Cairn. This birdie putt at the 14th helped him move to 3 under. However, 2 bogeys soon followed. Nonetheless, a solid opening 1 under par round for the Frenchman. Another looking to go low early on was Dutchman Dan Housing. After reaching the turn at 3 under 33, Housing would card another birdie at the 12th, but followed that up with bogeys at 16 and 18. The 2-time winner on the Challenge Tour sits at 2 under and in a tie for 6th. Trying to limit the bogeys is vital around Saint-Omer, and that's exactly what Robin Skiot-Sigrist managed to do for all 18 holes. His blemish-free 68, a fantastic opening round, which sees the Frenchman in a tie for second place going into Friday. On the same score, and in the same group, is Poland's Adrian Maronk. After 4 birdies in his first 12 holes, he narrowly missed out on adding to that tally here at the 14th. With just the 1 bogey on his card at the 15th, he would eventually sign for a 3 under 68. But leading the way after day 1 is England's Tom Murray. Having gone out in level par, Murray launched a birdie blitz on his back 9 with gains at 1, 3, 5 and 6. He would add another here at the 8th, and on the final hole would secure another to sign for a superb 6 under 65 in some of the worst playing conditions of the day. Continuing his good form, Welshman Stuart Manley is tied for second, alongside Maronk, Skiot-Sigrist and the Spaniard Javier Sainz. South African Oliver Becker ended his opening round strongly to sit in a tie for 6th, and Challenge Tour debutant Paul McBride will also be pleased with his start to life on tour with an opening 69. But it's Murray who leads by 3 going into the second round. Pretty much perfect golfing conditions greeted the second day at the Hauts de France Golf Open being staged at Saint-Omer Golf Club, in stark contrast to yesterday, the par 71 layout offering opportunities. And Chile's informed Nico Geiger was among those to take advantage. He followed up his opening 2 over par 73 with a fine response on day 2, with some superb iron play like this birdie at the 6th, followed by another at 7 on the way to a fine 66. Frenchman Mathieu Fenas pleased home supporters with another of the rounds of the day. This birdie putt at the 8th contributing to a 6 under par 65 to elevate him up the leaderboard alongside Geiger in a tie for 8th. After opening his account with a 70, Filippo Bergamaschi will be further encouraged by his follow-up 3 under par 68, 4 under for the tournament. He seems to like this Saint-Omer layout and is perfectly poised for the weekend. Dan Housing is another that seems right at home here and is tucked nicely in amongst the chasing pack. Demonstrating some wonderful iron play like this at the 8th, the Dutchman only slipped once with bogey at 16, and the 2-time winner on the Challenge Tour sits nicely in a tie for second. With 3 top 10 finishers in his last 3 starts, Stuart Manley is clearly a man in form. He's shown no signs of slowing down here in northern France and heads into round 3 just 3 shots back. But leading from the front after 2 rounds is England's Tom Murray. After shooting a superb opening round of 6 under in tough conditions, Murray battled his way to a 2 under par 69 on Friday to sit atop the leaderboard heading into the weekend. Alongside Bergamaschi in a tie for 4th are Scotland's Grant Forrest, Spain's Borja Vietto and home favourite Robin Skiot-Sigrist, while another of those to set himself up nicely for the weekend was match play 9 champion Liam Johnston, who's eased inside the top 10. With more of the same conditions in store for Saturday, there's bound to be plenty of drama in store on moving day.
A bright but a much more breezier affair was in store for day 3 of the Hauts de France Golf Open, being held at the Saint-Omer Golf Club. With gusty winds set to cause havoc for the players, the tough par 71 layout proved to be a much tougher test than the previous 2 days. One of the shots of the day came from Scotsman Liam Johnston. After finding trouble at the par 5 14th, Johnston showed great recovery skills here and managed to salvage a par. He sits at 2 under and just inside the top 10. Chile's Nico Geiger has battled back well after his opening 73. He's moved his way inside the top 5 in northern France and will be looking for a big push in the final round. Spain's Borja Verto has found some good form round Saint-Omer. This birdie putt here at the 14th an indication of that, and the Spaniard will go into Sunday just 2 shots adrift. After going out in a 5 under 31, Italy's Filippo Bergamaschi was making big strides up the leaderboard on moving day, but after slip-ups at 10, 15 and 16, his charge was halted, eventually signing for a 1 under 70. Leading after rounds 1 and 2, you could say that Tom Murray has looked comfortable in his surroundings. However, it was a much different story on Saturday. The Englishman struggled to match the superb golf that had taken him atop the standings, and will be looking to bounce back on Sunday. And there is a new name on top of the leaderboard in the shape of Dan Housing. The Dutchman battled his way around the elements in round 3 to post a 2 under 69. The only player in the field to shoot all 3 rounds in the 60s so far. The 2-time Challenge Tour winner will now have a chance to add to that tally and will take a 1-shot lead going into Sunday. So a look at the leaderboard then, and joining Geiger in a share for 5th are the French pair of Robin Chiot-Sigris and Mathieu Fenas, while the in-form pairing of Stuart Manley and Grant Forrest lie a further shot back in a tie for 8th. One of the rounds of the day came from Poland's Adrian Meronk, who pushed himself inside the top 10. But it's Housing who leads after 54 holes. With 8 players sitting within 4 shots of the lead, the final day at the Hauts de France Golf Open at Saint-Omer Golf Club was bound to be full of drama, and it didn't disappoint. Teeing off 2 hours before the leaders, Portugal's Ricardo Santos made a late Sunday charge, posting the lowest round of the day, a 6 under 65, to set an early clubhouse lead at 5 under par. Leading overnight, Dan Housing will be bitterly disappointed with his final round in Saint-Omer. This delightful chip-in at 13 a highlight, but the Dutchman would see his title challenge slip, posting a 3 over 74. As one of the informed players on the Challenge Tour, Welshman Stuart Manley was one to keep an eye on Sunday. And with putts like this on the first hole, you can see why. 4 more birdies followed in his round of 68, and he would sit in the clubhouse at 6 under par. Grant Forrest is another of those in form in the 2018 season. And by going out in 32, thanks in part to an eagle here at the 7th after this stunning approach, he was also showing why he was a force to be reckoned with in northern France. He would eventually sign for a 3 under 68 and join Manley at 6 under par. Playing in the final group, England's Tom Murray was also one of those in the hunt for the Saint-Omer title. For 14 holes, he recreated the type of superb golf that he had shown the previous 3 days. However, with bogeys at 15, 16 and 17, he found himself agonisingly short of Manley and Forrest at 6 under. It wasn't to be at 18 for the Englishman either, and he would see his chance for a second Challenge Tour title end. And so extra holes were needed between Manley and Forrest, and with both men equal to each other after 2 attempts, Forrest had a chance to put the pressure on Manley. His par putt just narrowly missing, which left Manley with a chance to seal the title. The Welshman making no mistake from 4 feet to become the Hauts de France Golf Open champion. Mathieu Fenas was the highest placed Frenchman on home soil, finishing with Santos in a tie for 3rd. Filippo Bergamaschi couldn't sustain his challenge on Sunday, ending in a tie for 5th, whilst Chile's Nico Geiger, the highest ranked player on the road to Ras Al Khaimah going into the week, slipped to a tie for 10th. But it's Manley who takes the spoils in Saint-Omer, picking up his first win this season and moving into 3rd in the rankings in the process. The Challenge Tour now heads to Scotland for the SSE Scottish Hydro Challenge, hosted by McDonald's Hotels and Resorts.